Norway will moderate this panel discussion today. I look forward to an engaging and informative 60 minutes with you all. I remember when I get to know listening our first time. It was April 2020 in a dark pandemic time. I still remember the word I heard, listening hour. So I was very excited about this and applied to become a guide in already April 2020 and became a guide in May 2020. And then I was more interested and applied for become a trainer and become a trainer in already in that summer. The listening hour method of using listening hour has reached many heights, and the way of doing it has changed slightly over the last 3.5 years, especially after the pandemic. People try to moderate it or find a way to do it in a in-person listening hour sections. Most of them have succeeded it, and we are doing well and getting a step further to share our thoughts and encourage people to try out this method. So we are arranging this panel discussion for the listening hour community. You are welcome. Before we go to the panel discussion, I just want to share with you who are sharing this space with us today. So if you are a listening hour guide, please raise your hand. Good. So if you are a listening hour trainer, please raise your hand. Good. So if you have already held an in-person listening hour, please raise your hand. Good. Many people. So if you are planning to have an in-person listening hour, please raise your hand. Good. So everyone have engaged in one or another way. Thank you. Let me introduce the panelists today. Dilan Müller from Switzerland. She's a listening hour guide and actress. And then we have Bengü Demiray from Turkey. She's also a listening hour guide and playback theater practitioner. And then we have Mandisi Sindo from South Africa. He's listening hour guide and Artivist. You are welcome to our panel discussion. And I kindly ask the panelists to start with their opening statement for 45 minutes. We will start with Bengü. Please go ahead.
Your microphone is closed.
I am just doing translation at the same time as Para speaks. That's why I'm actually talking to Bengü at the moment. Yes. And if she wants to start now, I can translate into the group now.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
Öncelikle herkese merhaba.
First of all, hi everybody.
Kısaca dinleme saatiyle nasıl tanıştığımdan bahsetmem isteniyor sanıyorum. Dilan, değil mi?
Evet, yani dinleme saatini ne zamandır yapıyorsun, nasıl tanıştın, hangi gruplarla çalışıyorsun, Dinleme saatini yüz yüze yaptın mı? Yaptığın zaman karşılaştığın zorluklar var mı? Bunlardan bahsetmeni istiyor.
Hı hı. Ben de dinleme saatinin ilk rehberlerinden birisiyim. Yani pandemi başlar başlamaz ben de bu çalışmanın içinde yer aldım. İstersen kısa kısa.
I am also very first guide and the practitioner in the listening hour. As soon as the pandemic kicked in, Shanice introduced us listening hour, and we became guides.
Hı. Mültecilerle çalıştım, kadın gruplarıyla çalıştım, dezavantajlı çocuklarla çalıştım. En son da kent konseyinde bir kadın grubuyla çalıştım. Ki bunlar daha kısa az mı devam edeyim yoksa devam edeyim
Bunu
mi?
çevireyim istersen
Tamam,
Bengücüğüm.
okay.
Bengü has worked with refugees in Turkey, disadvantaged children groups, and also women group in multiple women's council in Turkey. And these groups are basically, now she's going to explain which disadvantages they had or which topics she worked with. Evet
Hı hı.
Bengücüğüm.
Bu grup özellikle son anlatacağım yüz yüze çalışmayı yaptığım grup kadın meclisi meclisin üyelerinden oluşan bir gruptu ve bunların bir kısmı kadın cinayetlerini durduracağız platformu adına çalışan kadınlardı.
And the last group she has worked with, which is Women's Council in Turkey in Izmir, and their aim was to stop women murder in Turkey and violence.
Hı hı. Ayrıca katılımcılar içinde kadının insan hakları eğitimine eğitmenliği yapan kadınlar vardı. Kadının insan hakları eğitimi veren kadınlar vardı.
Some of the participants were also women rights activists that they were trying to educate and teach women their rights and also human rights.
Başlangıçta kapalı bir grup olarak başlamaya karar vermiştik. Fakat sonra bu gruba ilerleyen zamanda yeni katılımcılar geldi. Toplamda 22 kadınla 11 hafta süren bir çalışma yürüttük.
First of all, they thought this can be a closed group with the same participants, but then they opened the space and the group to other people as well. And end of the day, they had 22 participants, and they worked with this group for 11 weeks.
Hı hı. Avantajları, dezavantajları üzerine daha mı sonra konuşuruz Dilan?
Şimdi söyle canım hepsini.
Avantajları şuydu benim için. Bir kere yüz yüze olduğunda başlangıçtaki bu esneme ritüellerinde birbirine dokunabiliyordu insanlar. Bu çok önemliydi. Ya da herhangi biri ağladığında diğeri ona sarılabiliyordu. Bu çok önemliydi. Online'ın çeşitli teknik problemleri olabiliyordu. Orada o yoktu. Yüz yüzeydik, göz gözeydik, birbirimizi görebiliyorduk. Bu bir avantajdı. Bu bir avantajdı benim için.
She also wants to talk about advantages and the disadvantages having online or in-person listening hour. So the advantages were like people could feel each other in the group and in the space. If somebody had a story and cried afterwards, they could hug each other and feel each other and feel the atmosphere together. But also one of the other advantage is that she could warm up the group much better face to face. She could do the rituals together and some warm up exercises before they start the session, and which she had some problems on online meetings. there are some technical problems. Sometimes the misconnections, and this of course interrupts the session, which we don't want to happen.
Dezavantajları ise şuydu, katılımcıların içinde kent konseyinde çalışan kişiler de vardı. Bu kişiler iş için çağrılıyorlardı zaman zaman. Bu bir dezavantajdı. Çünkü günlük çalışmanın içinden çağrılıyorlardı. Onlara bir şeyler soruluyordu. O zaman da konsantrasyonumuz bozuluyordu.
She hold this space during the working hours in the municipality in Izmir, and this woman who were participants, they had to work at the same time, and sometimes the sessions were interrupted, and people asked them to go to work and do some task and then come back, and this also affected their time being together in a negative way.
Bir de mekan ses ve görüntü açısından çok yalıtılmış değildi. Orası bir iş yeriydi ve giren çıkanlar oluyordu. Zaman zaman kapıyı açıp bakanlar, burada ne oluyor diyenler olabiliyordu. Yani bize ayrılan bir yerdi ama yine de birilerinin gelip kapıyı açıp girip çıkmasına ya da işte çeşitli seslerin gelmesine mani olamıyorduk. Bu online'da biraz daha yalıtılmayı sağlayabiliyoruz. En azından bir saat için çekilebiliyoruz odalarımıza.
And she's saying that when you do online meetings over the Zoom, that everybody has their own room or space, and this is actually an advantage because while they were doing these listening hour sessions in the council of the state, and sometimes it was because it was during the working hours, they were interrupted by other people, and some curious people used to open the door and close it, and of course this affected the sessions in negative way. So if you do it in person in an open space, I think one of the important thing is that make sure that you are not interrupted by others. So it's a safe space for everybody, and everybody knows that they cannot enter during these hours.
Dezavantajlı bir tarafı da şu oluyordu. Orada çember içinde otururken bir şeyler tüketmek istiyorlar. Yani çay içelim, hadi kahve içelim. Şimdi bir sohbet havasında geçtiği için bu kez de çay içelim, kahve içelim vesaire böyle bir bir parti havasına döndürmek de isteyebiliyordu katılımcılar bazen.
And the other challenge she faced in face-to-face listening hour, and participants, they usually want to have a drink like coffee or tea or some little snacks during the session, because I think they want to avoid their feelings there, which online you can keep it much quiet. You can tell them to mute themselves, and if they have a sip of tea, this will not affect the session. But face-to-face is really hard to keep their concentration in the group.
Thank you very much, Bengü. We come back for deeper into the other questions later on. Thank you. I just want Mandisi to come up with his opening statement for 5 minutes. Thank you. Go ahead.
Kulomzi ngama qaba imbola. Kulomzi ngama qaba imbola. La maqaba imbola qhatha amagqirha aqeqeshekile ezingqondweni. La maqaba imbola qhatha amagqirha aqeqeshekile ezingqondweni. Kulomzi ngama qaba imbola. Kulomzi ngama qaba imbola. La maqaba imbola qhatha amagqirha aqeqeshekile ezingqondweni. La maqaba imbola qhatha amagqirha aqeqeshekile ezingqondweni. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That is how we begin. This is how we get into a space of unity. This is how we get into a space of sharing. Music to us as Black Xhosa speaking or as Black Africans in South Africa, music unites us. Even if we are coming from different backgrounds, and also people of color when they are with us during our sessions, by bringing music into the space, it makes us unique, and it also teaches us a lot of things about ourselves. And also during our sessions, we make sure each and everyone, even if you're an Indian, you are white, you are Black, you are colored, you are taught how to sing the song that we sing, and the songs that we sing within our space or within our listening hour as a ritual of the space. The song, it is something that makes us comfortable in the space. It makes us to be able to speak. It makes us to be able to express ourselves. My name is Mandisi Sindo. As a Black Xhosa man, my name has a meaning, or as Black people in South Africa, our names has a meaning. My name Mandisi means to extend. Whatever knowledge that I have, whatever that I grasp within the journey, I have to extend it and give it to other people. And when I encountered listening hour, last year in 2022 at Wits University, when it was introduced to us by our lecturer Warren Nibi from a class that is called a reflexive class. A reflexive class is quite very important in our university, where we begin to tell our stories, where we get a space where we practice self-care, where we are in a space where we practice mindfulness, and also we become very much, or we come forward with our vulnerabilities, because also we believe and we have learned that being vulnerable in the space, it doesn't mean that you are weak. You can grow something out of being vulnerable. So I fell in love as a theater maker, as a director, as a performer, and also as a conceptualizer of theater. Listening hour to me, it is something that really spoke to my heart, because I am not a theater maker that writes stories, but I devise theater productions. I use people experiences and people's stories to showcase or to put on a production or a play together. So this beautiful idea by Jonathan Fox, it really spoke to my heart, and it is something that took me from one moment to another. It doesn't only stay there on that space of just sharing, because I work with so many community groups, with actors and theater makers. So within these stories that we share within our listening, our circle, we are also trying our best to share and tell stories and put them within and create plays using those stories that we have shared within our spaces. So listening hour, or telling a story, it is something that is quite very important to us. When I grew up, my grandmother used to share stories with us. We used to sit around fire as children, and she would tell stories, different stories, not just stories that are not bedtime stories, but stories that are teaching us of the future, but stories also that reflects who we are as human beings in life. So when I deal with listening hour sessions, I have themes that I open up, or themes that I deal with. In the past year or so, there is a concept that is titled Triple L that I've always worked with. Triple L, or L cube, which is life, love, and loss. So those are the L's that I work with in my listening hour sessions. Within these L's, we carry pain, stories about pain, stories about trauma, stories about generational cases, stories about struggles, stories about gender-based violence, stories about family, and about life, love, and loss. And it has been an exciting journey, because one of the concepts also that we have started to implement during this process is how do we now, for instance, when we're talking about gender-based violence, because in South Africa, it is a pandemic. It is something that is big, where young women and old women are being killed. They are raped. They are raped like almost every day. And that is an issue that we need to talk about. And that is an issue that we need to deal with. So most of my listening hour sessions are happening in the townships. If you're in America, a township is ghetto. If you are in Brazil, a township is favelas. That is where you are getting a lot of Black, poor, and disadvantaged people who have got so many stories, but they do not get a platform to share their stories. So with this concept, we and my company is called Khayelitsha Art School and Rehabilitation Center. So we are using listening hour, not just theater, but also as part of rehabilitating young people and elderly people, and give them a platform to talk about what is happening behind closed doors, what is happening within their communities, and what is happening within their relationships, married or single, but still those people, they've got stories to tell. So we have opened up this platform for the people to speak up. We've opened a safe space for them, but I don't like a word safe space, because most of the times safe spaces are not safe. I always go with a word open space, hence listening hour, where you are given a platform to open up and speak without being asked to speak, without being forced to speak, but you let your heart open up and you speak from your willingness. And also we are opening a space for them to be vulnerable. Hence most of my listening hour sessions about the importance of home. When we talk about home, there are so many issues that you can navigate around when you're thinking of home. Sometimes when you think of home, you can, or you might even think about the people that we have lost. You may think about the love that you get from home. So stories are not shaped to be painful, but also we want different kinds of stories to be shared, so that those also who are sharing painful stories, they can listen to positive stories, which those stories are going to be able to inspire them in life. And also we have our motto. Our motto is about inspiring those who are uninspired, healing those who are unhealed, and also educating those who are uneducated. We are becoming an ear for those who want to be listened to, especially those who are vulnerable, especially those who feel that they need a platform to open up and share their inclusive and diverse stories.
Thank
and
you
our groups,
we will come back. We come again to deeper into your experience when we go through the different topics. Thank you very much. Now I kindly ask Dilan to start with their statement. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. It is really nice to hear from Bengü and Mandisi, how good they are doing. And I share, of course, their opinion and the tasks that they are doing. I am located in Switzerland last 5 years, and I also immigrated here with my husband because he is Swiss. It was never my idea to leave my country behind and come to other countries, start from zero with another culture, another language. And I found it quite challenging because I was a professional actress in Turkey. I traveled around the world and did some artwork. But as soon as I moved to Switzerland, I had a big language barrier because I didn't speak any German. And even with English, I tried to do my work. I was not successful. I was rejected from everywhere. So I had to change my career. And I am doing something that I could never imagine. I am doing office work in a hospital. I'm the clinic manager. And then the pandemic started, so I was more isolated than I could ever imagine for my life. Then at that time, I have met listening hour, and that gave me hope first for myself and for the others, that I could also change their life, because there are many people from Turkish community, and they are also living in Switzerland. And first of all, they are away from culture, their language. They are raising kids, and these kids are stuck between Swiss culture and Turkish culture, because at home they feel they are Turkish, and outside in social life they feel they are Swiss, but they are actually in between. They are not Swiss, not Turkish. So I thought I can help their mother or father, and then I can help these kids to find who they are. And I invite people to tell their stories in an open space. First of all, I started online, but at the moment I am doing it mostly in person. And what surprises me that I'm not doing it as a paid event. I just tell them, if you want to donate something for the cost for the room and everything, you can put something a little bit inside. It can be a biscuit, it can be, I don't know, 10 euro, whatever you feel like, but please put something from you. Because what I have seen is that when is a paid event, or is a fancy event, or is a picnic that you can go and eat, people are more attending. They are more willing to attend. But if you say they don't need to pay, it's a safe space to tell stories, they are like, I don't know if I want that much sensibility and that sensitive thing that I will open up myself. They are so inside their own space to protect themselves from outside and other people. They don't even want to share their stories. They usually tell me, I will come, but only to listen. I will not tell any story. But then as soon as they feel this safe space and open space, they really open up the things that they haven't told anybody for a long time. And this heals me. First of all, I also feel that I'm healing with their stories, because I feel I am not alone, because I share what they feel. And then I know I help them, that they connect together with the bonds and they feel stronger. So this is what I'm doing at the moment, Para. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dilan. Nice to hear that as well. Thank you very much for Bengü and Mandisi for sharing your thoughts in the beginning. As I'm hearing you, so if Jonathan would have been here, he will be very happy, because when listening hours was created, it was in a vulnerable time. It was in a dark pandemic time. So I hear from you three that you are using listening hour towards the vulnerable people to make their life better. Or having said that, my first questions to you is, when you are doing this sort of in-person listening hour towards the people who are vulnerable in the society, what sort of preparation you are doing or you are having in your mind? What I am thinking about, like, where are you? How do you choose the place for listening hour? What time of the day you choose? What could be the environment, or what sort of disturbance you can accept or which is not, or that sort of thing. So what sort of preparation you are doing before you go to, or you arrange in-person listening hour? Let's start with Mandisi.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. It is not a very easy one at the same time, because you sometimes not you don't know what you're going to get, or you don't know what to expect from the sharing itself. But for me, when I prepare for my listening hour sessions, because I deal with different people, but also I prefer not to get people who are coming from quite very much different backgrounds or different communities. So if I sometimes focus on a certain group of people or a community theater group, you understand that I need to strengthen them with sharing their stories, because most of the time they don't talk about these things, or they don't talk about the issues that eats them up. So I would take them away from the spaces that they are comfortable in. So I would look for a quiet space. And most of the times I look for open spaces, like your open field or a forest kind of a space, where it can also make their own senses to work while they are also telling stories. So they are able also to listen to the birds around the space. You understand? Because we very much also believe that even animals themselves, there is something that they impart in a being. And also in terms of days that I look at, I'm running these programs on weekends, which is on Saturdays or on Sundays and in the afternoon. And the preparations that I always get into, I do a lot of research first about the participants, and also I do a research about the background of a community, where they are coming from, before I bring a theme. Or sometimes they are quite very much open. Sometimes these sessions are not themed at all. So it's me bringing them into the space and nothing to be expected. We are just sitting down and we are going to tell our diverse and inclusive stories the way we feel like telling them. And I would tell them even from the beginning that there is no judgment within telling these stories. This is a space where it is open for anyone to tell any kind of a story. It might be a story that inspires you, or a story that eats you up, that you feel like you wanted to tell for quite a long time. For instance, the last one that I did, it was with a group of men, where it was titled Men Against GBV. So when we're talking about issues of gender-based violence, so it's always, even on social media, who are talking about such issues, but not us as men. We don't really talk about, we don't even protest, we don't even do a march about gender-based violence that is happening within our communities and societies. It's either it's women or it's people who are coming from the LGBTIQ community who are standing up for those things and who are fighting those things that are happening within our communities. And when I had these sessions, it was quite very hurting and shocking that there are so many men who are being abused within their relationships. But the only problem is that it's not easy for them to go to police station and report such cases, because they are going to be mocked. How can you as a man be abused by a woman? So you will feel like you are weak, you understand, and you are not responsible, or you are unable to beat up a woman. Even police themselves, they would say that you are unable to beat up a woman. Why as a man would you be beat up by a woman? So those are the issues that I'm trying to deal with. How do we now get into a space where we let men speak? Because if you're looking at the state, the stats or the rates of suicide, it's men who are committing suicide more than women, because they are bottling up, so they do not really get that space to speak out. So those are the preparations that I always look forward to, that how do we now get to a space where we let men speak and we get insight deep into their hearts. And also,
yeah.
Okay, thank you
very
very much.
Thank you very much. Bengü, please go ahead.
Ben kurumlarla çalıştığım için onların uygun oldukları günler de yapabildim. Hafta içi günlerde ve çoğunlukla da pazartesi günlerine denk gelmiş. Yani haftanın bir gününü onlar bizim için uygun görmüşlerdi. O günlerde yapabiliyordum ve toplamda en son çalışma, benim yaptığım en son çalışma, yüz yüze yaptığım çalışma, dediğim gibi bir kadın topluluğuylaydı. Ve işte 11 hafta kadar süren bir çalışmaydı. Burada istersen yani bunu söylemiştik zaten baştan, belki gerekmeyebilir.
She's saying that usually she works with institutions, so she can only do the listening hour sessions when they allow her to do and give her space and time to work with their employees. And the last time she did it for 11 weeks on Mondays during working hours.
Hı hı. Genelde kapalı bir mekanda yaptım ben yüz yüze olan çalışmaları. Ancak dediğim gibi ses, yalıtım vesaire ilgili sıkıntıları olabiliyordu. Bunun dışında, yani bunlar fiziksel sıkıntılardı. Ben çalışmalarımı açık bir alan adıyla yürüttüm 11 hafta boyunca. İstersen çevirebilirsin.
Sen devam et.
Açık bir alan adıyla yürüttüm. Sadece burada sizin için bir alan var, güvenli bir alan. Kimse sizi yargılamayacak, kimse size herhangi bir şekilde müdahale etmeyecek ve hikayeleriniz burada kalacak diye bir güvence verildiği için daha en başından itibaren çok sert hikayeler geldi. Yani şöyle ki kapalı bir grup olarak dediğim gibi başlamıştık. İlk hafta bir tecavüz olayı anlatıldı ve bunlar birlikte çalışan bir grup kadındı ve bu hikayeyi bilmiyorlardı arkadaşları. Ve onu bazen yalnız bırakıyorlardı o çalışmada. Yani aynı platform içinde çalışıyorlar ve zaman zaman ona destek olmuyorlardı. Ama bu hikayeyi duyduktan sonra neden onun o işi bırakmadığına dair bir fikirleri oldu.
Çevireyim istersen. From the beginning of the session, this 11 week, in the first session, she told them this is a closed space, safe space for you to tell your stories, and there is no judgment. Because these people who are attending to listening hour, they work together in this institute. And it was at the beginning quite hard, she thought, to hear their stories because they are colleagues as well who are there in the space. But she was very surprised because from the first session, there was a story of rape. One of the women, she shared her story that she got raped when she was younger. And before she shared this story in the group, her colleagues were actually out of listening hour in the office, leaving her alone, didn't want to communicate her, and kind of bullying her and mobbing her. But after they heard this story, what she went through previously, they felt empathized to her and they start looking after her also at work. Devam edebilirsin Bengü'cüğüm.
Ve ondan sonra onun gittiği bütün eylemlerde onu desteklediklerini gördük. Yani dinleme saatinin o gruba böyle bir katkısı oldu. Zaman zaman bir şeyleri bahane ederek onunla gitmiyorlardı ama o çalışmadan sonra gerek adliye önündeki duyuruların yapılmasına, gerek davaların takibinde onunla birlikte hareket ettiler. Fakat bir dezavantajı oldu bu çalışmanın. Bu kadar büyük hikayelerin bu kadar rahat anlatılması, birdenbire bir güven ortamı yaratıp bunların anlatılması bazılarını da kaçırttı. Yani örneğin 2 tane eğitmen vardı, insan hakları, kadın insan hakları eğitimini veren 2 kadın vardı. Bunlar belki de deşifre olmak ya da bu kadar kendilerini ortaya koymaktan çekindiler ve ondan sonraki çalışmalara katılmadılar. Bunu da yaşadık o toplulukta. Ürktüler bu kadar büyük hikayenin birdenbire anlatılmasından.
Söyleyeyim hemen. She said regarding this lady who shared her that strong story from the beginning, and this was the advantage of holding a space for the group because the other women, they start looking after her and going to protest with her when she had an open case in the court. They went there with her to support her. That was positive, but at the same time, there were also disadvantages of holding this open space for women, and they felt so strong, and they could share their very sensitive and private stories that openly. And there were some people, they left the sessions. They didn't want to be there anymore because they were scared of being known by the group, and they were taking their guards to protect themselves from that strong stories. So some people had advantages of hearing these stories, and some people had disadvantages. Even though those two who left the group, they were women human rights activists. They didn't want to be there anymore. It was hard for them to be there.
Sonrasında dediğim gibi 11 hafta boyunca açık bir alan adıyla yürüttüğümüz için çocukluk hikayeleri, dönüşüm hikayeleri, aşk hikayeleri bu şekilde de ilerledi ve hani küllerinden yeniden doğmak, şifalanmak gibi bizim daha önce yaptığımız çalışmalarla da devam ettik ve şeyin bitiminde, yani bu çalışmaların bitiminde kendilerini çok iyi hissettiklerini, ilk kez gerçekten dinlendiklerini, böyle bir alanın olabileceğine dair çok güzel geri bildirimler verdiler. Yani bu kadar ağır hikayeleri, çocukluk travmaları, suistimale uğramış hikayeler, bir yığın olumsuzluğun yanı sıra bir şeylerin de aslında evrilebileceğini, dönüşebileceğini, birlikte olunca bir şeyleri daha rahat çözebileceğimizi, dayanışma içinde olacağımızı da hissettiklerini ve ilk kez gerçekten dinlendiklerini söylediler, geri bildirim verdiler. Özellikle de bu reprise bölümünde bazen işte şiirler, bazen şarkılar, bazen oyunlar, masallarla hep onları iyi bir şekilde yolcu ettik. Buna da çok mutlu olduklarını söylediler.
Teşekkürler Bengücüğüm. And she has seen the transformation of the group and the listening hour session during these 11 weeks. Some weeks they were telling happy stories about love, childhood, and everything. And some weeks with the open space, they were telling quite tough stories. But every week you could see the transformation of the group. And end of the day, they left the space and the 11 sessions with feeling first time in their life, they said they felt they have been heard from someone. And plus they left the sessions each week with lots of hope because of the reprising. She always tried to do it in a hopeful way. Sometimes a poetry, sometimes a song, sometimes a fairy tale, but always hope inside for the future. And the main thing they said, they felt they are heard. Yeah.
As I understand, right, Bengü, that you don't choose the people, you don't choose the place, or you don't choose anything when it's come to in-person listening hour. So you go to their place, you have to do that in their working hours, and you have to do everything on their premises. So
yes,
how it was for you to that sort of activities regards the in-person listening hour. Shortly, can you explain it?
Let me translate to her. Bengücüm şeyi soruyor, para. Anladığım kadarıyla diyor, ne zamanı, ne yeri, ne de katılımcıları sen kendin belirleyemedin, seçemedin ve sana belediyenin vermiş olduğu, kent konseyinin vermiş olduğu yerde insanlarla birlikte çalıştın. Peki diyor, bu bir rehber olarak senin için nasıl bir histi? Hiçbir şeyi senin kararlaştırıp seçememiş olman. Kısa bir şekilde izah etmeni istiyor.
Benim için de kolay değildi. Başlangıçta dediğim gibi 5 ya da 6 kişi sürekli geldiler. Bir süre sonra onlarla belli bir şey oluştu aramızda. Belli bir yakınlık oluştu hikayelerin paylaşılmasından dolayı. Ama toplamda 22 kadın diyorum ya, bazı hafta yeni 3 kişi geldi, 4 kişi geldi. Öteki hafta 2 kişi geldi, 3 kişi geldi. Totalde 11 hafta ve sonuçta da 22 kadınla çalışma yürüdü. Benim için de çok kolay değildi başlangıçta, çok kolay değildi ama işimi rahatlatan şey şuydu: açık bir alan, burada boş bir alan var, açık bir alan var, hikayelerinizi buraya bırakabilirsiniz dediğimde onlar bir süre sonra neye ihtiyaçları olduğunu kestirebildim ve öyle devam edebildim.
She said, of course, at the beginning, it was a challenge for her to not be able to choose anything and decide anything for herself. But what comforted her was that 5 to 6 people were fixed. They were always coming to the stations, and they hold the space with her. But afterwards, what was good is that every session there were 2 people, 3 people new coming in and out. This was good to also have new people in the group in terms of having new stories. And during these 11 weeks, she discovered every session, their energy, their mood, which theme she can talk about. She also learned during this session how to hold a space with coming in and out people.
Thank you very much, Bengü. Before we go to Dilan, I just want to ask the audience here. Now you heard Mandisi talk about the preparation for the in-person listening hour. You heard Bengü explain how she worked and how it's affect her and how these in-person listening hours are. Do you have any experience which not has been named here by Mandisi or Bengü that you can share in the space, or do you have any questions towards panelists? Just feel free, unmute and talk.
No, not right now. Sorry, no.
Okay. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi. So I'm wondering, I had an experience 2 weeks ago online, and I'm wondering if it would have been easier to navigate in person. And this was doing a listening hour for a group of people who are spiritual directors. I'm part of this spiritual direction group, and I was showing them what a listening hour is by doing one. And I think that was a challenge because they were sort of watching the process and part of the process. But what I want to raise as maybe a question for you is there were some deep sharings that in the spiritual direction profession, we would follow up with the person. But in a listening hour, you don't really. And so I was thinking if it was in person, I could have given some maybe body language or maybe more easily indicated, would you like to have a follow-up conversation? So one of the parting comments that one of the listening hour participants said, she felt dangling because we don't do sort of like a group hug at the end, you know what I mean? And I was thinking that might have been easier to navigate in person. So I'm just curious what you think.
Mandisi or Bengü, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I understand exactly what Karen you are saying, because that's also an experience that I had gone through when I am hosting an in-person listening hour sessions. And it's sometimes a feeling that you cannot control, because at the end, for myself as well, I could feel this deep connection of the group where they really want to hug each other. They want to give care to each other. They want to support each other and give love to each other. But at the same time, it is a feeling that you cannot really avoid, especially if it's a group. You understand? It's not you who is intervening into that certain person, but a group feels that they need to give support to each other. Otherwise, we also need to get into a point where what is the use of doing a listening hour? Is it only about sharing these stories? What if a group now feels they feel like encouraging each other, they feel like giving hope to each other, because there is hope that needs to be transferred within the process itself. There is healing that needs to be processed. There is feeling like a physical love that needs to be shared, because at some point, for instance, in my working space, there is a lack of access to therapy sessions. You understand? Someone does not have anyone to talk to, and within that process or within that meeting, those are suggestions that would come at the end of the session itself. I believe and I feel like a process like that, it needs to be opened up so that people can start accessing and getting help with to deal with the issues that they are facing in their lives.
Thank you very much, Mandisi. Xenia, you want to share something? I saw you raised your hand.
Yeah, I have a few questions, but I don't know about the time also. I was thinking that, yeah, I can understand what Karen is saying. And I feel that sometimes we can acknowledge at the end of a session, even if it's online, that maybe if someone wants to have a more personal chat or ask for something, we can have an email or a way of following up, or like ask them if they need something, or like in a way say that we are open if there is something that someone needs. And of course, I think Jonathan had made also a suggestion that if people feel that they need some support in asking from help from other more specific people, that they could ask for that. But also sometimes, yeah, sometimes I did it when I had a very traumatic story. I sent an email asking, how do you feel? Is it okay? What you shared felt very traumatic. And even though the group was very supportive and the stories that came up were very supportive, is it okay that you left with no one being able to hug you, or something like that, like a follow-up by an email.
Thank you.
What I sometimes did, it was like if I had a theme or something that came up, it was a fairy tale, whatever. I used to send to the group a picture. It was a bird that came up as a symbol, and I used to send it back to the group, saying that that was the bird we created all together, blah blah blah. It was like a connection between the whole group.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if I have time for a question, but maybe later.
Okay,
I'll come back.
so just one thing. Also, I think what we have learned so much when a teller tells a story, right after a teller told a story, they need to be. So we are having this ritual of from Drama for Life of doing this and rubbing our hands towards a teller and looking at that teller through to their eyes, and it means I see you and we appreciate your story. And also they feel good about that they were listened to, and the fact that they were felt and they were acknowledged at the same time.
Thank you very much, Mandisi. So that's a good suggestion, and the audience can take this. I just want to ask you, Dilan, you are having these in-person listening hour for some time now. Can you share with us a particular challenge you experienced during the in-person listening hour? An example.
Yes, I can give you this example. That I share the same feelings with Mandisi and Bengü. I don't want to go through the same things. It's usually the same things that I also experience. What can I say? That I hold space for 1 hour, sometimes 1 hour, 15 minutes. My challenge is, as a guide, to leave afterward, because people, they don't want to go. They want to stay there. And I need to stay with them there another 3 hours after the session. And the conversation keeps going and keeps going. I just, it's a big challenge for me to find the right time to leave them alone and say, you continue having coffee, tea, glass of wine, and it's me done here, I'm leaving now. Because I feel like I'm the host of the session. Even the session ends, is a space for them to continue their social networking and sharing stories. And I don't know when is the right time to exit that. This is my biggest challenge. I'm getting better. Sometimes, of course, I also hear their stories and I feel connected. For me also as a person, not only as a guide, I also want to be there and share, but I also want them to feel that I am the guide. So this is a challenge for me, because I know they will come next time. I don't want to go personal with them, but at the same time, I want to stay there and keep sharing with them. I also want to tell something. And this is a big thing for me. And still I'm discovering. One time I tried that way, one time I tried this way. And what I like is that some people, they come back and they bring new people with them, because they want their friends also have this feeling, and they want the good friend telling them the stories. They want them to heard in a group, so they feel heard. This is my biggest challenge. When to leave after the session.
Thank you very much, Dilan. I see Elsa have written a question to Bengü. Can you please translate to her?
Let me read it, of course.
While Dilan is reading, Mandisi, can you please have a look at that question as well?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, they basically do feel empowered, but still, as a man, you have that thing in you that you cannot go to hospital and report. It feels quite very lousy for you to go to hospital and report an abuse case, especially as a man. So there is also pride from a man perspective that I'm a man, I cannot be abused, especially an African man. We understand. So we feel like we are strong. We feel like we can command anything, and we feel like there's nothing, there's no force, especially from a woman perspective. Sometimes they do feel empowered. They feel like they have a right to, but they can't go to. You understand? So they feel like I have a right to go and report this case, but how other men are going to look at me within the society, within the police station itself, besides the policemen, but other men who are in that police station, how are they going to? So there is pride also in us as men that we cannot go into that space and report an abuse kind of a case. But they do feel empowered. They do feel, most of them, most of the time, they move out of their relationships. They understand, they move out of their, as I said from the beginning, that sometimes we acknowledge these stories, and then there is a feeling within the group that they need to be transferred now into a theater production. And that is when a support and suggestions would come and would feel it that, okay, now a moving out kind of an approach, it is what is being taken. And so there's that deep sensation feeling in the group that a suggestion in this situation is moving out of a relationship than going to the police station and report the case.
Thank you very much. Bengü, can you please answer the question?
Geri bildirim şu yöndeydi Dilan, diğer arkadaşlarım. Çok etkilendiklerini, aslında dinleme saatinde ne olacağını bilmeden geldiler, anlatıldı. Ama çok etkilendiklerini, böyle bir şeyi beklemediklerini, bu kadar ilk etapta, ben bunu Şeniz'le konuştuğumda Şeniz şey demişti, çok güvenli bir alan yaratmış olmalısın ki böylesine önemli bir hikayeyi gruba ve hani sana teslim edebilmişler diye bir geri bildirim vermişti bana. Ben de çok şaşırmıştım. Yani bu ilk kez gelen birinin o ortamda böyle bir hikayesini bize teslim etmesi benim için çok önemliydi. Ama diğer arkadaşlar için şöyle düşünüyorum. Sonradan verdikleri geri bildirimde bu kadar duygusal, bu kadar derinlemesine hikayelerin anlatılacağını bilmiyorduk ve çok etkilendik diye geri bildirim verdiler.
Bengü had, of course, her questions as well, and she shared that with Sheni. She was our guide trainer from Turkey. And first of all, the lady who shared this deep story, and in the first session, without knowing anybody in the group and with the colleagues as well, Sheni told Bengü that you must have hold the space really good, and they really trust the group and the space. It was a safe space, so she could deliver this story to you and the two group. And the two other ladies, afterwards they left, Bengü had a chat with them, and they said they were not expecting such a deep story, such good stories, and they were not ready for it emotionally. It was heavy for them to face and hear these stories in this group, because this was not their expectation from listening hour. So that's why they didn't feel ready to be in the group and in the space during that time. So they decided to leave. And yeah, this is what Bengü said.
Şunu da
Thank
eklemek
you very much.
isterim.
Yeah.
Pardon.
No, go
Şunu
ahead.
şunu eklemek isterim. Benim görüşüm de şuydu. Onlar da o kadınlarla başka eğitimlere girdikleri için biraz da belki konumlarının sarsılmasını istememiş olabilirler diye de düşündüm. Benim görüşüm
And
de bu
Bengü's
yönde oldu.
her own opinion about these two ladies, because they are women's human rights activists. They were also holding some conferences and educational spaces with that group of ladies. Probably they didn't want their status to change in front of this group. They wanted to hold their position for upcoming events they are holding, and that's why they didn't want to be there, hear their stories, or share their own stories with the group.
Thank you very much, Bengü, for answering that. Hope Elsa was happy with your answers. I see when we start, they said 60 minutes. I see the time is already gone. And I understand that it's very interesting to talk about this subject in person. Listening hours is getting more and more used to it. Please be with us for a couple of minutes and have some question from the audience as well. Zinia, you said you have a question.
Yes, I wanted to ask, because all three of them had prior Zoom sessions, and now in person, but also other people may have that. So I want to ask if this change of space online and in person, you feel that it changes the stories at all, that you get different stories when you are in person. I don't know how different.
Thank you for your question. Please go ahead, Dilan.
Yes, I can answer this question because previously I was doing Zoom meetings. As a guide, I was also choosing different topics to talk about, and the themes were also for me different. So I led differently in online than face-to-face. In face-to-face, that you go with the group energy as well. But Zoom, you have your structure and you say, I start with that, I go with that. And you say, you can mute yourself or you can speak now. You have more control over the group online. This is my experience. But when it comes to face-to-face, you can't just say, don't talk, don't say, don't do, just sit down, stand up, now we're doing this. It also comes with their energy and the stories changing, your structure being changed. Then of course the topic, you start with childhood happy stories, but it can go somewhere that you cannot follow up. And yes, I see a big difference between online and face-to-face. In person listening hour, I feel like people are more connected and stories are much deeper. This is my experience.
Thank you. Mandisi, do you want to add
Yeah,
something?
no, most definitely. I echo what Dilan has just said. I would say also on Zoom, there is less connection of humans around space than when the listening hour session is happening in person. There's quite so much connection. And when you are doing exercises in the beginning, when you are breathing in and out, you could feel the breath within that space. And also there's a deep pain, said that you also feel in that in-person kind of a session. Like the stories that are being told, they sit than on Zoom. You understand? On Zoom, there's so many technical and data issues. You understand? But when you are in person, there's just something. For instance, when I had my listening hour online during the festival, there was a woman who spoke because the session was about what does home mean to you? And this woman recently lost her mother. You understand? So she felt like home is quite empty. She was crying. And, you know, there was a feeling for me. I felt like I wanted to be in the same space with her and feel her pain. You understand? So these spaces are quite, she was deeply crying. And most of my sessions, I get that. But us slowing down and breathing, it makes the pain also to go down. But on Zoom, it wasn't easy, you understand, to let that transcend. And also because they deal with deep shared stories, and it really, it makes sense to do it in person than online.
Thank you very much. Bengü, do you want to share your experience?
Ben de sizlerle aynı görüşleri paylaşıyorum. Daha derinlemesine hikayeler paylaşılıyor. Orada 5 duyumuzla bir aradayız. Sesler, koku, her şey etkili oluyor o hikayelerin anlatılması sırasında ve zaman yönetimi daha kolay oluyor. Benim açımdan da öyle oldu en azından. Şeye de tamamen katılıyorum. O teknik sıkıntılar hakikaten insanı geriyor ve hani bittiğinde böyle yapıyoruz ya. Zoom bittiğinde orada birbirimize sarılıyoruz. En azından o açıdan sizlere katılıyorum.
Bengü also agrees with me and Mandisi that when it's in person, the stories are much deeper because then you have the 5 senses: hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and what else? What's the fifth one? Yeah, I can't remember. So it's more real. people can feel each other in all the senses. And with the Zoom or online, that you focus on mostly the technical issues and the background noises. At least if you're in a space together, you hear the same thing, you smell the same thing, or you cry together, or you laugh together. It's much more connected than online.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I see that the time is running out of house. I see this is a very interesting topic. Many things to share, and I see more people are gathering and have a discussion about it. I just wonder that we come to the closure today. If it's more interesting, so we'll set up another panel discussion or coffee break where we can talk about the same topic, and we will invite more people to share their thoughts later. Today, we were started with the opening statement where the three panelists, they shared their way of doing in-person listening hour. They talk about what sort of people they are doing in-person listening hour and what their advantages, disadvantages, and as well as their challenges. We also talk about the preparation they do and we do to before we start in-person listening hour. We also discuss or talk about the advantages of being in-person listening hour and how we can support the people who are in the space. And of course there are of course more space, more questions in the space as well. So we come to closure today, and thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much, Dilan, Bengü, and Mandisi to take part of our society, and also I would like to thank the cultures listening our cultures committee for giving us a space to do these sort of activities towards guides and practitioner of the listening hour. I would like to invite Mandisi to give us a small song to close our today's section, please.
Yo, yo, Hemagoseni, yo, yo, Hemagoseni, Zasideli, Hemagoseni, Zasideli, Hemagoseni, yo, yo. Hemagoseni, listening hour, you are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mandisi. Thank you very much for everyone to take part in this panel discussion today. Thank you very much. We are officially closed this panel discussion now. Please stay behind if you have